Does it start when I start talking? Wait, of course it will. Sorry, yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Our group is called LockedIn, and our aim is to revolutionize the way everybody studies. For now, everybody studies based on how long they studied. I did this for 3 hours. I was coding for 6 hours. I was up until 4 a.m. Our point is to be the most productive study app you'll ever use. Instead of measuring how long you study, it measures your efficiency and what you're actually doing during that study. We want to change the way that students, university students, and everybody works. Our core concept that makes us different from all these other study apps that have such intuitive layouts, eye-catching imagery, and collaborative features is that ours is backed by lots of study evidence. There are many studies such as the Educational Psychology Review that say productivity equals time studied multiplied by effectiveness of studying. Anybody can start a timer and code for however long they want, but if you're not locked in or if you're not actually studying, then all that studying kind of goes to waste. I'll hand it over to Leo now for the live demonstration.
Alright, this is our homepage this is our homepage, and then on the right we have our buttons to start. We've got a timer on the left side, traditional timer, but when we start our program, it will detect my face, and then because I'm in frame right now, it considers me logged in. I'm about 98% logged in. And then if I'm distracted, let's say I move out of frame, you'll see the logged in percentage starts to drop. I start gaining focus numeric points, and this thing also works if I'm, let's say, on my phone, I'm like walking around, not being distracted. But we've got the pause, restart, resume sessions buttons. Also, we have a log feature, which logs our effectiveness as well as the time of study. So I can reset this, start it up again, and then it starts back from 0. And then we can also log this one as well as export our study session as a CSV, which later we can use to do like data analysis on like how effective we study this. So we move on to how our works, our design.
Okay, so our design is to be lightweight, and we emphasize on the privacy and data security, which help our client to be fully offline. And our tech stack is JavaScript, HTML, and CSS that will use the Face API for facial recognition. We using the neural network to detect point on your face. Then we use point on your eyes and nose to calculate the x-coordinate and mouth and jaw for the y-coordinate for the vector, which will tell the direction that you're going to face. And this will determine the focus point of yours.
Alright, so our current business strategy focuses on a tier model. So for free, we'll have whatever we've demonstrated today in a more refined state. And then for our premium subscription, for $4.99 a month, it'll be similarly priced to products that are similar in the certain space. We'll have access to more of the online functionality, some like leaderboards, study groups, and more user personalization, such as facial recognition for individual users. And we plan to roll this out to schools and workplaces to integrate into online learning and examination environments.
Okay, and lastly, on to what's next for LockedIn. First of all, we can definitely use the statistical analysis as shown earlier, so we can have a log. This can be exported as an SCV, but also we want to implement this graph feature which shows statistics from history study sessions, and from this, in conjunction with machine learning, we can generate the optimal study work-rest ratio split for the user and personalize that. Secondly, we would also like to make improvements to the algorithm, so making it more sophisticated, implementing features such as tracking the real-time words per minute, as well as more eye tracking and making the facial recognition more accurate. And lastly, we would also like to improve the UI. So an example would be changing the gradient of the web app depending on the study efficiency. This is inspired actually by the Apple Wallet's card, which its color and gradient changes depending on what you've spent the most on in the month. And yes, thank you. That wraps up our presentation. Thank you.